Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm here today with one of my dear friends and a wonderful healer, Miss Lina Razgaitis. Thank you so much for being here, Lina.
Thank you, Pontea. It's
Yeah.
an honor. It's an honor to be here with you and your followers.
Yes, yes. Everybody that follows me, are really good people. They're people that want to help humanity. So thank you for offering to do this quantum biofeedback for all of them. And I'm so excited for them to see what you do. But first, I wanted to have you share with us a little bit about your background and how you've arrived at this part of your life path, please.
Well, I've spent the first 3/4 of my career in corporate, in marketing, advertising, in management consulting. And then there was a day where the lights came on and I said, why am I doing this work? Usually it's for money to pursue uh, the money so that I could be safe because of the money. I just woke up and said, no, I'm not happy. My passion has always been to help people. I mean, really, as a kid, I remember whenever someone was in pain or suffering, I just wanted so much to relieve it for them. And I was raised Catholic, and of all the teachings, the one piece that has always stuck with me is that Jesus was a healer, and that he would pass by someone and they touch his robe and they would be healed.
Mhm.
And there was somewhere in that Bible where it said, "What I do, you can do." That
Mhm.
was a quote from him speaking.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, that's quite the lofty goal to be able to heal like he does.
Yeah.
But that always stuck with me. And that as I continued in my, growing, as soon as I heard of a modality that was available to learn, like I remember when I first heard about Reiki, like,
Mhm.
you mean I could lay on my hands on someone and that would take away their pain? And I felt so, it was so urgent for me that I had to wait for this particular Reiki teacher to do the course. And I'm like chomping at the bit I need to learn it. Like, let's do it. Can I get in sooner?
Yeah. It's like you had an inner urge to do it, like it was
Yeah.
calling.
Yeah. Yeah. And knowing that I needed to learn how to do it.
Yes.
So I practiced that for a while and really it didn't suit me that much because of this it was kind of slow, you really just laying on hands for a half an hour, and I felt like it wasn't stimulating for me.
Mhm.
So I continued to study other modalities. My favorite one is called pranic healing, prana, Pranic, and it's involved in actually finding and feeling the aura of a person and chakras. So activating the hands so that they're like sensors to be able to feel. And like, for example, can I scan just a few of your chakras?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So your aura, and I'm real time here in Canada, and you're real time there in California, and I'll explain how this can work from a distance. But when I scan you, your aura is like this big.
Ooh.
Well, it's pretty much as far as your arms will reach,
Kind of like
which
that.
is nice and broad. But when we're in a bar or with people that we
Mm.
want to kind of cloak ourselves, our aura, we pull it in. So
Mm.
just and for instance, let me check your throat chakra. Okay, so it's like this level, and pranic healing involved feeling it, scanning it, going in and cleaning it, like literally with my hands, sweeping and clearing, energizing, and then checking again. So I did that for a few years, and what I really enjoyed using that for was with the animals,
Mm.
because you can't always go up to an animal and do Reiki and put your hands on them. I mean, you could do distance. So here was a modality. I could be across the room from them and be cleaning and sweeping.
Yes.
And I had tremendous results. I also worked with horses, and with horses, you don't want to be always right up into them because they're got they're tall and they've got legs that just shoot out once in a while. So, it's dangerous. You want to be
Yeah.
cautious, especially when waving hands about. So I loved that modality, and it involved with it. I was able to work on people, on animals, on cleaning a space, a room, a house, a city.
Mm. Wow.
And we used to work together in teams, working on a country that
Mm.
was in strife.
Yes.
So I loved being able to make a difference. And so I continued studying, learning. I just kept on learning modalities.
Mm.
And one day, I was introduced by a doctor to this device that I'm going to be introducing and showing and
Mm.
actually demonstrating a session. And as I looked at it, I realized, oh my God, all the different modalities I've been doing are incorporated into this one.
Mm.
And it's at the same time a scientific. It has a scientific appearance,
Yes. Yes.
and it's a computer. So it's a lot easier to talk to your average person about their well-being and healing
Mm.
with technology than it is with hands waving about.
Mm-hmm.
That is just considered so out there, and I'm sure many of you watching can relate to using your hands to clean and clear,
Yeah.
but not for the average person. I was also raised on Star Trek.
Ah.
I was a Trekkie, and for many years because the series just went on and on and on and on,
Yes.
that they had a reveal in there about healing technologies.
Mm.
The first series, the old one, that's really, kind of corny, but still, they would have one of the crew would break an arm, and they would take what looks like a cell phone, and they would go, the person would go back to work.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I had in my intention, my vision that this was possible. And there
Mm-hmm.
was no doubt. So when I came across this, I'm like, yes, it's here.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, we've got something that it can help people, not just physically,
Mm-hmm.
but correlate physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social,
Yeah.
environment. Like that problems aren't the root cause may not just be physical.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see when we get into this.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much my motivations. And
Yeah.
I don't think we're done yet. I think there's greater technologies coming,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm ready. I'm ready because I know how to work with this one. So
Yes, and it's such a cool program because I've used it a few times with you and you've been helping me with my family member. I'm so grateful to you and just I'm amazed at how it's able to find these little things in the body, and you even are able to see dark presences in an aura. You're able to see if there's an angelic presence in the aura. We can actually measure the size of it with numbers. So it just, to me, it gives a lot of validity to all the spiritual healers and what they've been doing. Now it can be proven with a machine when somebody says, "Oh, I feel heavy," there's actually something in their aura and we can
yeah,
measure it. Like I remember
yeah.
one time you told me it was something, it was like such a large number. So I'm excited for everybody to see it. And you had suggested that for the client today, we're going to put in the search in the name humanity. So we're going to be running the AI biofeedback program today, and we're going to see what comes up that we need to help humanity to go from transitioning from a dark age to the golden age. So
And
that's
I just do want to do one correction because I used
oh,
to
yes.
call this AI, which
Mm-hmm,
is artificial intelligence,
mm-hmm,
because of how uncanny it was to interact and talk to the body. Just
mm-hmm.
as you know now, if you work with Chat GPT, you give it a little instruction and it comes back with how did it know to say that?
Yes.
So so now I've changed it from art of AI to OI, which is organic intelligence,
Oh, okay.
right? It's our own intelligence that biofeedback is. Well, let me explain just how it works. Uh, this is based on quantum physics. It's quantum biofeedback.
Mhm.
We're very familiar with biofeedback. A thermometer, put it in your mouth, and
Mhm.
it gives you feedback on your temperature.
Mhm.
So that, in a sense, is biofeedback.
Mhm.
Although it's one way, you ask it, it's two way. You put it in there, and the answer comes out on the thermometer. Uh, a lie detector test
Mhm.
is biofeedback, but it's measuring uh, your galvanic skin response, the sweat, the twitching, the muscle twitching. That when you tell a lie, most people would have the same kind of tell
Mhm. Mhm.
on that they're lying, unless I think they're completely psychopathic, and there's ways to
Mhm.
outsmart a lie detector.
Mhm.
Scales, weight scales are the same thing, but this is based on quantum physics. So kindergarten version on what quantum physics is. The core premise is that we are both a particle and a wave. We're
Mhm.
physical. This is matter.
Yes.
You've seen in your science classes molecules
Yes.
that, condense and they're solid, and they stay solid. Then
Mhm.
on the other hand, we have the wave. So the wave is energy,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
energy can be, just as the physical can be measured,
Mhm.
that my finger is 3 inches long, or how many centimeters, depending on your scale.
Mhm.
I weigh so much, I have this color hair, I have that height.
Mhm.
The wave can also measure
Mhm.
everything about it. So what's going on here? It has a frequency signature. The fingernail has a different signature than the flesh, the tip of the finger or the knuckle. So the
Mhm.
body is like a series of frequencies,
Mhm.
and they can all be communicated with. And the beauty is with the physical, if I want to make a correction, it's usually slow. It
Mhm.
takes time because density
Mhm.
is dense and slow.
Mhm.
Whereas frequency can be shifted like that.
Mhm.
And so this device measures the signature frequency of over is scanned within it of over 15,000 signatures,
Wow. Wow.
including emotions, the body parts,
Mhm.
the right down to the granular level of what vitamins, what nutrients, what cells aren't happy, just every part of our body. And
Mhm.
so what we're going to do is it's probably better to show rather
Yeah.
than
Yeah. Let's show
explain.
them. They're going to be excited to see it, I think, because the first
So
time I saw it, I was amazed. So.
So when we start, I energetically locate or calibrate the client. Takes about a minute. I run a scan, and then we look at what comes up, what feedback came from the client that will help us decide what the client needs. So our client today, and I've already finished the scan, or you're running the test, and now we're going to be able to look at it and decide where does humanity want us to support it? So it's I'm not just my idea of, oh, I have an idea of let's clean up the Middle East, and no, it's let's see what it wants.
So we're actually going to scan all of humanity. It's already scanned, and then we're going to see what the humanity needs to be supported to
Mhm.
go from the dark age we're in right now to the golden age.
And so it's not only information about what is wanted and needed, but we can actually go and balance those frequencies. Okay?
Mm,
So as
yes,
we go along, I'll explain how the balancing happens.
very cool.
Ready?
Really
Ready? Oh,
fun.
by the way, if you're watching this, you are a client. You have been scanned, and the work is for you individually as well as for the whole collective of humanity.
Yes.
I think let's talk organic humanity
Hmm.
because there is a lot of inorganic out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so shall
Yes.
we
Go
launch it?
ahead.
We're going in.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so um, when I work with head office. So let's ask source. And my head office is the divine source, God, the universe, whatever you call it. And I invite you to also call in head office for the purpose of for your own needs in this session. So whenever you end up watching this, you can participate in the balancing. Okay, so first thing I like to do is, and also I want to thank Source for hearing our intention and fulfilling it.
Mm.
Okay. No doubt that our intention can be fulfilled. So first thing is, what is our intention? And the intention I sussed out was to support in the present tense, supporting humanity in moving from a dark age
To the golden age.
into the golden age. Okay. So just and to be more precise, to support you, the person watching, in moving from a dark age into a golden age. Okay, so let me put that intention into the system, and it will continue holding until the session is done. So a lot comes up. This what we see was so we're testing. It's a lot to explain a short time, but a reaction to a signature.
Mhm.
So let's see, for example, well, let's just see what shows up.
Okay.
And then these are puzzle pieces, so I won't spend much time here. I'm going to go and look at the big picture.
Okay.
Think of the big picture as a puzzle box with the cover that tells you what you're going to be putting together in the puzzle,
Hmm.
jigsaw puzzle. Whereas these are jigsaw puzzle pieces, but I thought it was hilarious that what is most reactive is at the bottom of this screen, if you see my cursor.
Hmm.
We have, I don't know what Romania is, but it's for children who smell sour and have sour stools.
Mm.
So think of humanity as being still quite childlike and submissive to the parent, who
Hmm.
is the government, the medical system, the education system, the boss.
Hmm.
There's still a lot of submission. Now, the you who are watching this may no longer be in that category, but I would say the majority of humanity is. I
Hmm.
hope I'm wrong. But the fact that sour stools, that shit stinks,
Hmm.
and we are, the earth, the planet, the people, it's like we need to flush the toilet,
Hmm.
right? That's very funny.
Hmm.
The next puzzle piece is there's a lot of remedies and solutions programmed into here. It's I speak my truth freely and in love.
Hmm.
I see how everything in the cosmos hangs together, and my frequency is there and here. I am
Hmm.
a pivot for change.
Hmm.
So how appropriate for today, and we are recording this on the eve of New Year's Eve
Hmm.
on a full moon. And where's the full moon? Where what
It's a new moon in Capricorn.
new moon in
Capricorn.
Capricorn.
Yes.
So it's a dark moon, meaning there's no light reflected off the moon. And Capricorn is government structures. It's the establishments.
Hmm.
And so it's like the darkest day of that.
Wow.
So a perfect time to move into the new. And there's a remedy for a paramedic rescue.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like it's a remedy for shock and
It says
injury.
rescue matrix item. It's like we're trying to
Yeah,
rescue people from the matrix, and it says
yeah.
matrix.
Yeah. And we're not always literally going to interpret things.
Mm-hmm.
We always also use metaphor
Mm-hmm.
because the system does work with metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go into big picture to see how what shows up. And I always like to start with the aura and the chakras
Mm-hmm.
because because of my background in energy work,
Mm-hmm.
right? I would always scan and see, okay, and then maybe I'd ask about what's your issue. Oh, by the way, I should say I'm not a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a naturopath or a homeopath. I am a quantum biofeedback specialist. So I do not diagnose or treat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, even though it may look like I do, but I don't. This is pre-diagnostic. If I were a doctor, I would see this as pre-diagnostic, and
Mm-hmm.
then use it to say, okay, now we need a CAT scan, or
Mm-hmm.
now we need a blood test, as opposed to sending everybody for X-rays and scans. That's very expensive for the system.
Yes, this could save people a lot of time, which is what I love about it, is you can be like, is the problem in the head? Is the problem in the chest and the leg? And scans take 6 months sometime, but this we could actually give us a head start. You could
Yeah.
show it, right?
So, all right. So what we see in this aura is a lot of heat, inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
Like people have reaching a boiling point of how much can they take, especially if they're normies, if they're watching the news, they're
Mm-hmm.
probably frying because it's like
Mm-hmm.
World War, this, that, and
Mm-hmm.
toxins and vaccines and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. Everything you hear on the news. So what do we see here? That there's chakras ideally should line up from the top of the head where this one is. If you can see me circling, this is the crown chakra,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's sitting exactly where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
The crown chakra connects us with the higher realms. Okay, so we are connecting
Mm-hmm.
as a collective with the higher realms.
That's good
And
news.
then it goes a little offside with the brow, which is the thinking. It's not completely aligned up with that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not far off. The throat is communicating with the crown,
Mm-hmm.
and this lighter blue one here is actually a high heart chakra. It's not the main heart chakra. It's like the inner physician, and that's lined up. And then the heart is offside. It's actually literally on the same lineup
Mm-hmm.
as the brow. So there's a disconnect. Not a huge disconnect, but definitely two lineups.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's to the right, which is like the male side of things,
So it's
as
kind
a
of like they're more to the right, you would say humanity.
yeah, more left, like logical side rather than the feminine side, which is the left.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this? Hang on, am I right? No, it's actually going to the left, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
the left.
And then we have a disconnect. We have the solar plexus
Mm-hmm.
is in an individual that would be right where the diaphragm is. It's like right here,
Uh-huh.
and it governs the digestive system, the liver, pancreas, stomach. It's underactive. Then the navel is underactive, and they're off on their own. And then the root chakra is completely off in the separate direction. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a disintegration. It's not terrible, it's not far off,
Mm-hmm.
but we're going to want to balance that out. If we get a chance, we'll do that
Mm-hmm.
in a bit. So let's look at another big picture. Where do we focus when we've got so much information? Where do we begin?
Mm-hmm.
And this graph, let me do a different view here. In this graph, everyone gets everything show up.
Mm-hmm.
It's called risk of disease because there are a lot of health professionals that are licensed to use that word.
Mm-hmm.
But I am licensed for stress reduction, muscle relaxation, pain management.
Mm-hmm.
So I would call this risk of stress factors. Where are the biggest stressors? And what's at the top is what is presenting itself as start with me.
Mm-hmm.
What's at the bottom is underlying factor. What
Mm-hmm.
is uh, a medical term would be chronic.
Mm-hmm.
The top is acute.
Mm-hmm.
What's acute is easier to pick off and manage because it's like up, it's like a pimple that's come up.
Mm-hmm.
What's at the bottom, the pimple hasn't come up yet, so you don't go poking it, but it's good to know. So what's at the top is food poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
That we live on a planet where the people who are supposed to look after us
Mm-hmm.
are poisoning our food
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah.
pesticides, with
Every fluoride in the water.
fluoride in the water, genetically modified everything,
Mm-hmm.
which is great because it produces, maybe nicer tomatoes. But our bodies don't understand that when that we receive that, it's like, what? I don't recognize that, that food. So, and everybody has this. The whole planet, and you can buy organic all you want, and I do prefer organic, but I don't know where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the farm next door sprayed that cucumber that I'm eating.
Right. I mean, this
And
is
then the chemtrails, right? So
oh yeah, chemtrails, exactly.
so even organic food will have that rain down upon it. Then the other thing right at the top is inflammation.
Mm.
And we already saw in the aura how there was this red, hot, ready to boil over. And then underlying factor is brain function, cognition. What are we thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Are we thinking clearly?
Mm-hmm.
Do any of us have any news information that's not secondhand?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's all somebody told me that,
Mm-hmm.
both from the normal side, like mainstream news, and all this alternative. I don't know. I just know who I resonate with, but I really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And sensory. So the way it looks and feels, what we hear, what we see, these are areas where we can reduce the stressors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're gonna work on some of this, but let me carry on with just looking at a big picture. Uh, as we're beginning, I'm putting up a protector field
Mm-hmm.
so that as we start to clear, and this is a big project for this afternoon when we're
Yeah.
doing
8
this.
billion people, right? Is that how many
Yeah,
people on it?
yeah. But
This-
it's like there's no different degree of miracles. It's all, and we are asking for it. And I ask you also to support humanity with your own intention of coming out of the sludge and into the light.
I like
So I just put up a protector that as we clear things, that they be disintegrated and dissolved and not just waiting outside of our
that.
door until when we're finished with this and then they come back on us. There's a lot of infiltration.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I think I'd like to start with one of my favorite trainings. Okay, I'm going to call the instead of therapies, I call them trainings.
Mm-hmm.
You go to a personal trainer and they're going to tell you to do these many repetitions
Mm-hmm.
of this particular exercise. But you still have to do it. Your body has to do it. They're
Mm-hmm.
just guiding you. So the trainings here give instructions and information to the energy fields
Mm-hmm.
on how to come into balance.
Mm-hmm.
And those frequencies will stay with you, but you have to, your system has to say, okay, yes, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. And I have had miracles happen. And
Mm-hmm.
then other times I can't make a dent. And that is because we need to know this. A lot of what we're going to do here is look for what is the root cause of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the example I use, you've got very incredible pain in your foot. Every time you take a step, you're screaming. And you can take ibuprofen, Tylenol, OxyContin, you name it, and it barely touches the pain. But if you find out why that's happening, you find the root cause of that pain, and you find out, oh, it's a shard of glass
Mhm.
in my foot, then you know what to do about it. You
Mhm.
get someone to take a tweezers and a strong light and pull it out.
Oh no. Mhm.
Then the Tylenol will help if you even need it.
Mhm.
So getting to the root cause, to the root stressor is a key part of what we're going to be doing here.
Mhm.
And then once we know what it is, we can work it on this system, or there's information that can come up as to how you and I can support the coming of the golden age.
Yes.
So let me do the first training, and I really love this one. This is called color training.
Mhm.
And if you all would watch the screen and with a soft gaze and just breathe, look at the colors, notice the colors you enjoy, the ones that make you feel up, which ones that make you feel down. Just keep breathing. And this is already beginning to balance your chakras because chakras are very color based. Also, this is balancing enzymes. And enzymes are the worker bees in the whole body. Some of them help us digest our food. Some of them help us with our breathing. Some with our thinking, our DNA. So we're getting a stimulation of every one of those enzymes right now. And this last color where we stop is the color that's most needed for the client at this point in time.
Mhm.
And this is a green. This is almost like a Kermit green, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. So pretty.
Yeah, it's an up color, and it says here green is for liver, stomach, the back from the neck down, not the neck, but the thoracic down to the end. But I also metaphorically, this is the color of spring.
Mhm.
This is the color of the leaves when they're first coming out as shoots.
Yes.
It's rejuvenation, regeneration. So
Yes.
the suggestion here that this is actually a good color, if you have this color in your wardrobe or somewhere in around you, just notice it more and take in through
Mhm.
your eyes those frequencies. And
Mhm.
there's metaphorically, the suggestion is that we are in spring.
Mhm.
You're in California, so you're not getting snow. We actually have a lot of rain now here in Toronto.
Oh wow, yes, yes.
Yeah, we had one snowfall. Oh, so far it's like been 2 months of winter, one snowfall.
Wow.
So,
A lot of rain.
um,
A lot of rain.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So the feeling here is almost spring-like. Now, it will change over the next 2, 3 months, but nevertheless, perhaps humanity is in its springtime.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I feel it. I feel it. So, where to go next? Ah, yes, I know. Let me show you another favorite. I'll show you my favorites.
Yes. Good.
Time flies very quickly when we do this. So it's going to be, how long do we have today,
We have as
Pontea?
much time as you need. Yeah, whatever is good for you.
We'll keep it.
Kind of concise. Usually the interviews are like an hour to an hour and 10 minutes, something like that.
Okay,
So
all
whatever.
right. We'll keep it to that
Yeah.
because also because you're getting a session as you're watching this, whenever you're watching this,
Mhm.
you're going to need to integrate these frequencies and this information. So here's another snapshot of the aura of the client, which is humanity, and it's you as well as the microcosm.
Mhm.
Humanity is the macro. And what do we have floating around here?
Look at that.
I
So
call
cute.
that a benevolent being.
Oh.
You can call it an angel, you can call it your guardian, your dearly departed grandmother.
Mhm.
I like to kind of go right to source. So I feel that that is source energy, light energy that is available. And at the level of the awareness, thoughts,
Mhm.
the head,
Yes.
our cognition, and and I want to thank Source for coming through today
Thank you, Source.
for us. Um, okay, so let's see what the first choice is to focus on. We have a woman showing up. By the way, there will be some naked bodies. I don't think we want them on YouTube, but they're anatomical. So it's not like what YouTube likes to.
Yeah, I think, yeah, there's a lot worse things on YouTube. So.
Yeah, sure are. And so the first focal point to work on is the connection between the head and the body.
Mhm.
And the head is headquarters and sends messages to the body,
Mhm.
but the body then sends messages back to the head.
Mhm.
And what that's telling me, it's we need to listen. We
Mhm.
need to hear, we need to understand the signs that are coming from around us and from the earth.
Mhm.
Also, because we see a female, and I had the client is both male and female,
Mhm.
it's our feminine side
Mhm.
that needs to step forward. It's the mothers that can save the planet
Mhm.
because they are the ones that are look after the children.
Mhm. Wow.
And they will tend not to go to war as much as the males would because they're macho.
Mhm.
I'm generalizing, but so let's see, what do we need? And also it's communication.
Mhm.
The throat chakra is communication. And I'm going to ask, what do we need to address this focal point or issue? And the unconscious is saying that what's needed is to cleanse the astral body.
Okay.
So the astral body in this system, because everyone's got their different terminology,
Mhm.
it's that first layer
Mhm.
around the physical body.
Mhm.
So we'll let that run. And then let's ask, what is the second focal point for this session? And it's the arms.
Mhm.
And the arms are, as acupuncture meridians, we have the heart,
Mhm.
the pericardium, which is the heart muscle or wall.
Mhm.
We have the lungs, we have the hormonal. So they're all coming through. Small and large intestine are also coming through the arms. So
Mhm.
what is that saying to me? That we got to have heart. We've got to feel.
Mhm.
We've got to restore, connect with what we really want to feel.
And that would be like our femininity too, right? Like
Yeah.
feelings is feminine. Men and women
Yeah.
both need to kind of feel their feelings as a humanity.
And to act on it.
Hmm.
Because the arms, we use our arms to act on pretty much everything.
Hmm.
And the arms, I feel like, are an extension of the heart, so that when you hug someone,
Hmm.
you're not like rubbing your heart against them. You're embracing them because this is the heart that's embracing them.
Hmm.
And the previous one with the neck thing,
Hmm.
that perhaps we should also now be communicating.
Hmm.
And what are we going to communicate? Do we communicate about how dark it is? Or
Hmm.
do we communicate about, oh, it's the dawn is breaking. I feel the light.
Hmm.
So the more you talk about it and declare it,
Hmm.
the more you will recognize it.
Hmm.
What we want, our unconscious choice on this is to strengthen the base chakra, the root. The root chakra governs all the big systems, skeleton, muscular, nervous system. So
Mhm.
planetarily, it's the suggestion was we want to act on the physical level,
Mhm. Mhm.
not just like up here in our heads.
Mhm.
Take action. And some of that action is verbal communication. Let's see the third focal point. Okay, so it's what's in my face.
Mhm.
Like let's call it.
Mhm.
Let's name it that this is not the what we've had so far, what the has been created in the world is not what we choose.
Mhm.
So what we choose is, and we must declare what we choose.
Mhm.
And what sacred geometry would help us support us in that
Mhm.
is to activate
Mhm.
our DNA. I mean, we scientists say we've got two strands,
Mhm.
and the rest is junk. And the esoteric knowledge is saying, no, we have multiple strands, that if we activated them all, we could clean up the planet
Wow.
very, very quickly. So I'm going to let this run for all of us to wake up our DNA so that it's activated and we suddenly have superpowers to
Love
work
that.
with.
So everybody that's kind of listening right now, be watching the graphics and just kind of breathing in from the quantum field, kind of what's coming in. And as Lina is explaining it, hold the intention that like see that the planet might be dark, but that the sun is starting to rise. And that as we take action and speak our truths, all of us that are watching, that's going to bring the change. That could really bring the change that we all are looking for.
Like we have two chakras that are about creativity.
Mhm.
One is it's called the lower creativity chakra is the sex chakra.
Mhm.
It's a subset of the navel because babies are created there.
Mhm.
Life is created there. And the higher creativity chakra is the throat.
Mhm.
So what you say creates.
Mhm.
So if you get together with friends on New Year's Eve or next in 2025 and
Mhm.
talk about the news and how bad it is, you are magnifying it.
Mhm. Mhm.
I have just stopped people cold and stopped them from talking about the dark
Mhm.
and changed the subject to the light.
Mhm.
Even if I had to do a joke or something, but it's like my job to not let that
Mhm.
those dark
It's
thoughts.
not good to like vent about it or to talk to each other about it. Now at a point is we have to kind of be really careful what we say, not to empower it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's okay once to let it out, but you notice it's not enough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
That's
then you want to say, then it grows. So watch your thoughts. And okay, so we're going into one of the risks that came up, and it was the deep-seated one, and it was cognition.
mhm.
That it's what we know and what we think.
Mhm.
And so the system is um, pulling up all kinds of information related to our topic and our client. And
Mhm.
I'm just going to pick up a few of the things here.
Mhm.
The first clue is that a person who won't be beaten cannot be beaten.
Mhm. The person who
We
won't be beaten cannot be beaten. Oh, wow.
we have been living in a dark age for millennia, more numbers than I know. And
Mhm.
so now when we're moving into the new, it's hard to know what that looks like.
Mhm.
And we have been suppressed so terribly. We've and infiltrated that, but we're going to make it because we have the boss. We had to have head office declaring that we're now moving into the golden age. You
Mhm.
want to come? Come on. And if not, you're on your own. Since
Mhm.
your client is starving, yeah, we have been starving for light.
Mhm.
And I'm free from excess sadness. So start to see a vision of happiness, even if you get that happiness from looking into your cat's eyes or your pet's eyes or a baby's eyes or looking at a beautiful day, a beautiful sunshine. Just, move past that sadness.
Mm-hmm.
That we have inherited
Mm-hmm.
so much dark energy, perverse energy is Chinese medicine term for humidity, wind, dampness. It's like the storms.
A lot of the people that are watching could be the one that's in their family bloodline that's been clearing all the karma on behalf of their family too,
Hmm.
right? It's all the ancestral cleaning that
Hmm.
they've had to do to get here. But and I also love what you said is we're moving to the golden age, and those who want to come can come, and those who don't have to come. So it's really a choice for everybody watching and for all of humanity, what they
Each
want
their
to do.
own.
Yeah, and it's okay, Source doesn't force anyone to do anything. So.
Lots of solutions here, lots of remedies, including one for the tongue, again, communicating.
Mm.
Interesting that this cranial nerve, hypoglossal, is the tongue nerve. It
Mm,
starts in the back of our heads,
here.
which is the medulla oblongata.
Mm.
This is where our past life memories are held.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. What if we do start to remember a bright planet?
Yes. Oh, I love that. Yes.
Most stressed organ is emotions.
So humanity's emotions are very stressed out.
Yeah,
Everybody's feeling
yeah.
stressed out right now.
So let's go to the emotional panel and see what shows up.
Hmm.
Emotions are frequencies. So let's make the report. Emotional chart. There we go. Okay. This is great.
Hmm.
What's at the top is acute, it's presenting itself. What's at the bottom is deep-seated.
Hmm.
Shock.
Hmm.
Everyone's on stun, like, especially if you've been through the last 4 years. I can't believe that what? How could we have gone through this Holocaust
Hmm.
of, anyway,
Yeah.
there's a lot of shock because so much is coming, change is coming at us so quickly.
Yes.
And shock can be neutralized. In fact, much of my work is working with shock and trauma.
Hmm.
Laughter, keeping it light,
Hmm.
especially in light of how dark it appears,
Hmm.
keeping it light.
Hmm.
Lust is not just sexual lust, it's
Hmm.
wanting something so sincerely. I
Hmm.
know in my heart, I so want to see humanity, to see Earth ascend into a place of compassion that reflects God's source.
Yes.
Treating the animals right, treating the earth right, treating the people right. It's very strong. And
Yes.
rejection and just saying no.
Hmm.
That stuff from the past, it stays in the past.
Hmm.
Let's leave that behind and let's move into the present.
Hmm.
And so not only is it like I can see what the emotions are without going into therapy, and asking you, what is it you feel? I get to see it. And then we're going to do a 1 minute training on all of these emotions, and they're going to start shifting.
Hmm.
And what's at the bottom is embarrassment.
Hmm.
Like, I'm really embarrassed by the state of humanity.
Hmm.
I sometimes don't have great hope for it, but
Hmm.
why not have a hope for it?
Yeah, what other option do we have? Just give up
Right.
and let the
Just give
darkness take
up,
over?
give
No.
up and, eat, drink, and be merry and be done with it. And then we die. Right.
Yeah, no, we have
Even
to fight.
dying can
We have to
change.
stand up to it. We have to stand up to the darkness by empowering the light within each of us. And the light just means also knowledge, right? So like people
Yeah.
sharing their knowledge could really help flip the script, so to speak.
So let's see what shifts in this 1 minute when we're starting
Hmm.
to, adjust. Well, what's more obvious is that, shock is more dramatic and rejection is more dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at the bottom. It shifted, but from a misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
That I'll bet you dollars for donuts that everybody who's watching this has felt misunderstood.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this kind of a channel. And a desire for things to be different. At the bottom here, if you see my cursor, ecstasy. My core operating modality is to be joyful and ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
when I'm not, I'm like, I got to change it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I've got to do something to change it because I can't sit in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I notice that some people just get adapted to it and they live with it.
Yes. Yes.
So behind, and we're not going to do this one, but behind emotions is chemistry.
Oh.
Like, for example, endorphins is, the happy, the hit you get, I
Mm-hmm.
get when I put a puzzle piece in place, or I find out the root cause of someone's issues and am able to work on it.
Yeah.
So it's training for emotional training, but on the chemistry behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't go there because of timing, but we at least had that minute. And what I'd like to do is there are 3 buttons on here. All of these are just so awesome. If you read some of these, I'm going to ask what our humanity is asking for as an unconscious choice from all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's showing up here at the bottom, if you could see my cursor. Grief, assist, and stabilization. Reduce sadness.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a vision of a golden age.
Mm-hmm.
It's very sad if you just look at what is right now. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my God, how have we sunk so low? I'm not going to do that one because I want to do 3 buttons.
Okay.
And the first one is they're up here, this top row,
Mm-hmm.
and they're partners. Like we have to do all 3 of them.
Okay. Okay.
The first one is to dissipate karma.
Okay.
So it would be nice to have a clean slate
Mm-hmm.
from the past. Karma is it's the results of your past actions.
Mm-hmm.
I heard this story once, and I'm not a complete believer in past lives, but because they could also be different timelines.
Mm-hmm.
But the story goes that this guy's like at the door getting ready to be accepted into heaven, and he's given the option of you can come back to Earth and just complete what hasn't been completed,
Mm-hmm.
or you could just hang on to it and move forward through the pearly gates. And this person said, why don't I just go back and finish? So he does, and he comes back as a lizard. Now, it's not my story, but it's a metaphor. Comes back as a lizard, and as he's sitting on his warm rock, little tongue automatically goes out and grabs an insect and eats it, and then another. And consequently, in the story, creates more karma. It does some actions that have more consequences. So here we are asking to leave the consequences of our past actions behind. Let us have a clean slate. Yes, we've all participated in the muck, but can we start fresh?
Mm-hmm.
Just have a shower, wash it off, and move into the new.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
So if you just personally want to make that intent, that you don't have to keep paying for your mistakes, for your deeds, just say, I'm good with having a clear slate. Just let me in, let me go into heaven. I don't need to go back and clean up that little bit of mess.
I like that.
And just breathe through this. Excellent. With everything I do, I get a number that tells me whether that frequency message was received. And I'm told that it was received at 105%. So thank you. The second button I want to push is ascension stimulation. You
Ascension
good with,
stimulation.
are you good with that?
Yes, and that what that means, does that mean exactly what it says, or could you explain that what it means? Like, does it mean it's gonna help
Well,
stimulate?
you know, it doesn't have to be a woo-woo fifth dimension, which I don't know what that is because every system talks about different dimensions, but raising the frequency.
Mhm.
And the frequency of, there's what's his name? David something.
Pocket.
Hawkins wrote a book called Power versus Force. Could not read it, but I got the main concept that he measured emotions on a chart, starting at the bottom from anger, grief, hate, all those things, and then coming up, coming up, coming up. And at one point, it crosses a threshold where it's no longer under in the ground, like underneath. It goes into courage and then up and up and up and eventually to love and joy. And these are frequencies. So just like you can dial in
Mhm.
on an old, you dial in a different channel
Mhm.
on your radio. I mean, I don't think we have dials anymore, but we can, tap them in. You can raise the frequency from grief, which is what we asked to work on, reduce sadness. We
Mhm.
can dial it up, 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 up.
Mhm.
I believe that in the lower emotions, we are disempowered. We cannot create from those lower frequencies.
Yes.
And as we cross that threshold, I believe it's neutral, no, it's courage, and
Yes.
I believe then neutrality
Yes.
and acceptance and
Yes.
up and up. So we can dial it up. We don't have to go into love and joy, ecstasy right away, just to get our heads above water.
Mhm.
And I suggest this to clients. Like I have a young client who's being bullied.
Mhm.
No, he's being called things, names like short and all. You don't play those sports very well.
Mhm.
And what I suggested is that he can shift from fear and shame.
Mhm.
He can shift like boom into courage
Mhm.
because he knows what it is to have courage.
Mhm.
Because he did get up to bat in the baseball field. He had courage. He
Mhm.
knows what it's like. It's not pretend. You literally shift the frequency.
Mhm.
So we made it to 76%. I think we'll go to the third one,
Oh, I like that. Higher purpose
higher purpose
alignment.
alignment. So we're asking Source to guide us into how to line up with this new age because we don't know.
Mhm.
It's not a concept. It's not like we're all going to be wearing white and
Yeah.
lovey-dovey. I just don't quite see that
Yeah.
floating around. Money, no nothing. Hopefully someday we will be looked after, like just like the animals are.
Mhm.
So higher purpose alignment. Let's just hold that frequency.
For all of humanity
Yeah, for all of your humanity and yourself.
and for ourselves.
What is my higher purpose? Show me my higher purpose here. Pontea, may Source show you what you're meant to do here.
Thank
Not
you.
just overall, like you're here to be a doctor. No, it's just you are a doctor.
The higher purpose, though,
Yeah,
like it's like
yeah, and
a bigger
obviously
goal.
it's and it is to be a doctor because you are that, but what do you do with that?
Yeah, like
And
what?
um, may we be guided to take the steps that we need to take to step into our own greatness and also to be of service. Because
Mhm.
I feel that I don't know how many people here are ready for the shift,
Mhm.
planetary wise.
Mhm.
I'd be surprised if it's 50%, but
Mhm.
who knows? I figure it's a small percentage. The whole biblical thing of 144,000 can shift the planet. I
Mhm.
don't care how many it is, but may you and I
Mhm.
follow that GPS,
Mhm.
that source GPS,
Mhm.
and find our way to what we are here to do and the way in which we're here to serve.
Yes. I love that. I love
So
that.
let's just give it one more minute and then I'll show you a few other places, but not much because of our timing.
Okay, no problem.
It
Yes.
is overwhelming. I do I do sessions. I have clients around the world. So a lot of my sessions are on Zoom, just like we're actually recording on Zoom. 109 rectification. So it
Mm-hmm.
looks like the message went in, the alignment went in.
Mm-hmm.
So be willing, just observe the shifts.
So
Okay.
cool. I was
Um,
amazed by like how many things shifted after our first sessions that we had together. I mean, it was so powerful, and I was just like, wow, it was amazing, you know? So, so cool.
so we could, and I'm going to give you a little tour,
Hmm.
but we're not going to work it. It's just a tour.
Hmm.
Here we can look at what vitamins
Hmm.
are needed, or I guess the correct term are hyper reacting like at issue. How's that? Which
Hmm.
vitamins are at issue and which ones your body isn't even recognizing,
Hmm.
including enzymes, including what the digestive system is telling us,
Hmm.
minerals, amino acids, hormones. For
Hmm.
example, major concern, let's ask for um, what is needed to support humanity. It's
Hmm.
our intention.
Yeah.
What nutritional supplement would
Yeah.
help with that?
Oh, I
And
love
they're going to show up here. It's really so much fun to be just
it. Hmm.
like wandering around and having the work done. A nutritional deficiency of all fatty acids.
Mm.
Fatty acids strength build our nervous system.
Hmm.
The nerves have they're like a wire,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
I'm going to show you, but a wire has rubber around it.
Yes.
Fatty acids make the rubber around our nerves.
Hmm.
If that's frayed, we're sparking and freaking out,
Hmm.
and we can't take much.
Is that
Vitamin,
something they could eat, or is that like in a certain food they would eat if people were?
yeah, omega 369s,
Mm.
olive oil, butter is actually a fatty acid. It's
Okay,
a
okay, thank you.
combination, avocados, just worth exploring.
Hmm.
But that suggests that the nervous system of humanity needs to be rebuilt.
Just like people are feeling a little fried right now.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the past 4 years has been so intense. So,
Vitamin G, that's part of the vitamin B family.
hmm.
And vitamin B is for stress
Hmm.
and for so many things.
Yes.
Again, overall fatty acids.
Oh,
Tryptophan for mood control, energy, healing, and sleep. We
tryptophan. Is that
we
in
need
chocolate,
sleep.
or where do we get tryptophan? Like I
As a supplement, it's
uh,
5-HTP, I think.
HTP,
I
oh,
think
5-HTP. Okay,
I
yeah.
think it's the precursor of serotonin,
Oh,
the
okay.
happy hormone, right? But is healing, and sleep is what humanity needs.
Mhm. So people are not sleeping 8 hours
Yeah,
comfortably right
yeah,
now, probably.
yeah. A deep sleep.
Hmm.
It is very easy to wake up every 3 hours and think. Anyway, so that's awesome possibilities there. Here we can actually work through the spine, vertebra by vertebra. We
Hmm.
can we have organs. The which organs are at play here?
Hmm.
Let's see the organ chart. Chakra to endocrine. That means it's our energy. Chakra is energy.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the first stepping from energy to matter is in the body is from the chakra to the hormonal system.
Hmm.
The thyroid, the adrenals, all of the even insulin is a part hormone.
Hmm.
Um, and the digestive system. So again, we could work this here, but we won't get to it. And
But
then
good for
under,
people to know to like balance their
yeah, I just,
energy
it's
and to
really,
work on their digestion. Like,
I'm giving you a 5 minute tour on what I'm not going to be able to work on today. Because that it could, it really could take a while.
this program is so complex and amazing, and that's why I love it because it has you every time I worked with you on it, I see a new thing. It seems like there's so much newness every time. And I know you were saying that you're going to be showing people about it, so people are interested to learn about it. They can contact you and you're going to be
Uh,
teaching people, right?
yeah, and I also represent a company that sells it.
Hmm.
I never sell it. I'm not a salesperson, but when someone sees it and wants it, I can work with them and support them in acquiring it.
That's awesome.
I don't like selling because if you're a practitioner, adding this to your mix would
Yeah,
be really amazing, but it has to suit you.
yes.
You have to be able to navigate the numbers and there's training with it, so no worries.
So they trained you when you bought it, then they train you how to
You get
use
the training with it. It's a,
it.
a lot of video training,
Oh,
and
cool.
I'm always learning. After 24 years with this, I'm always learning.
Oh, wow.
So let's go in for a wrap up. I think I just scratched the surface here, and I showed you the really fun stuff,
Yes.
especially with emotions and so notice that we are already coming into alignment here.
Hmm.
Notice that now there was when we went off sides, the
Hmm.
brow was offside, it's lined up.
Yeah, a lot of them look a lot more in a straight line right now.
And and when I'm coming in for a wrap up, the first thing I want to see is where in the field is there snags or blockages.
Hmm.
And when I used to do this with my hands, I couldn't see it. I could feel it, but I couldn't see it. And I'll just show you briefly what the snags look like, and we'll extrapolate.
Perfect.
Then we'll line up the chakras and we'll wrap.
That would be cool. I really like that button where you can click and it shows a past life. Do you think that would show that for all of humanity, or do you think it wouldn't probably, right? Like, I wonder, I'm curious about that
Let's
one.
look at that. So what do we see? The snags are on the legs of moving forward,
Mm.
right? And then around the back, um, behind us, there's a lot of heart like this is the back heart
Back of
chakra.
the upper back is kind of there's some holes in
Yeah,
it, and then the
yeah,
leg.
it's the back heart. So
Mm-hmm.
we've been beat up.
Mm-hmm.
And on the left side is the feminine.
Mm-hmm.
The hand has been compromised.
Mm. The
It's
left
like held back, you know. Yes,
receiving.
the mothers don't want the wars, but they're disempowered from stopping the wars because those guys run the show, so how can we stop them? Kind of thing.
Yeah. Women don't want children being killed, obviously. Like, and a
Yeah.
lot of men too, but there's some evil people that are killing children in the wars and they're doing all these things. But the left hand is like they're feeling disempowered to do something about it, you're saying. Like they did have those like women marching in the street a few years ago. We might need stuff like that again, you know? Who
We
knows?
may have to get on our feet. This is what's in our face. It's in front of us now. It's time for the change. If you have a vision of light moving in, then hold that vision. It's just like the beginning of dawn.
Mhm. I love that.
On the left side again, the heart has been compromised and bungee cords holding us back to the past.
Mm.
And then here again, the left side, not being able to put that left foot forward, the feminine foot foot, foot forward. So I'm not I'm gonna actually clear these up when we get off
Mhm.
because there's no way I'm gonna leave it like this. In fact, I may spend some time this evening
Thank you
to do
so much for doing that for humanity.
yeah, for each, and I like to keep bringing it back down to each one of us
Yes.
that It's not out there as a woo-woo
Each
vague.
person that's watching, that's tuning in, is going to receive this and through the quantum field if they allow it and they open themselves,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. We all need the support. All the light workers have been working so hard. I know that, you know that. And so everybody's been working really hard. And so they deserve this support. And then, we hold the vision that we're going to move forward and create this new plan. Because it's a lot more than 144,000 now. I was
Oh
talking
yeah.
to a Galactic astrologer, and he was saying it's 100 million of us on light
Wow.
workers, 100 million spread across the globe in different professions, different areas, different ages. So
Yeah.
we can visualize that. To me, that's like a lot of light
Yeah.
workers, you know?
Yeah. And
So,
not everybody's awakened yet,
yeah.
but it's like a code, the time release capsule. You just suddenly the alarm goes off, and you're like, okay, what am I here to do? Okay, here's the lineup.
Oh, wow. There we go.
Okay, the root chakra is hard to see, but notice the purple.
Oh,
The
yeah.
purple is the color of the crown chakra, the divine higher energy coming through all through the body. The
Mhm.
only concern I have is a disconnect. These rings are like Olympic rings. They should be all intertwined.
Mhm.
And here, let me take the background
Yeah,
off.
like from the third eye to the throat, there's a disconnect.
Yeah, so that what we're thinking isn't always expressed. But
Mhm.
that's okay. This has only been doing this for like 40 minutes.
Yes.
And here are the snags or the blockages. Why did we have those snags?
Mhm.
Delusion. We
Mhm.
believed it was real.
Mhm.
We were deluded.
Mhm.
What we were told by the media, we believe it because they keep saying it. How can it not be true?
Mhm.
Confusion, so much smoke and mirrors,
Mhm.
and a guilt as well. Like if you decided you were not going to pay your taxes,
Mhm.
you will pay them because you feel guilty or afraid they're going to come after you.
Yeah.
But so there's this strong guilt coming from the dark that wants to suppress us.
Mhm.
But at the same time, sensuality is feeling what we feel and really owning it. Because here in the 3D, this is such an amazing place to feel, to see, to use our senses.
Yes.
So, let me stop sharing because I
Mhm.
will go on all like hours.
I love
However,
hearing you talk. You're so brilliant, so smart, and this program is so amazing. So thank you for sharing all that. And could you kind of like as we're kind of like wrapping up towards the end, so like if people feel guided to reach out to you, what are the kind of things they would want to reach out to you for? Like how would they know? And
well, first, the people who tend to come to me are the last resort.
mhm.
As they've been to the doctor, they didn't help, and they don't know where they've even gone to naturopaths and it didn't help. So this is a place that they come if it's like, okay, show me what does my body want to tell us about this.
Yeah.
I also get a lot of the light workers,
Mhm.
ones who are shifting their frequencies higher and higher. And when they get it and
Mhm.
they feel it right away.
Yes.
Some people bring their pets first
Oh.
because you know what it's like to take a dog or a cat to a vet.
Oh yeah.
You have to have a small mortgage,
Yes.
and that doesn't mean you're going to get the fix. You're going to get maybe nothing.
Yes.
That $3,000 of testing, we don't know. There's nothing wrong. Yeah, but why is my dog, doing that?
Yes.
So this is a really nice, not a replacement for vets. There's space, for all of them, but it's a good snapshot.
Yes.
And also as a training, sometimes we get it done. In
Mhm.
fact, I have a cat that I've been working on regularly who's like way past her expiry date, but will not leave because her person needs her so badly.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love.
And she's got ear infections. She does not eating. So her person calls me. We run a session. We did one yesterday,
Mhm.
no, a few days ago.
Yes.
And the cat literally comes and sits under the desk
Oh,
out
even.
of her stupor, comes and is present, falls asleep, is right there. And after the session, she ate ravenously. She
That's
went to her litter box and used it. She
mm-hmm.
was brighter. So the animals respond much more quickly.
Yes. And I was thinking also, like you were telling me the other day, you were working with a little girl because sometimes kids can't say their emotions, right? Like,
Yeah.
even, so with this, we can kind of see, like, why is this little kid not talking or why are they upset? And then it might come up, they're angry, something happened at school. That kind of stuff I think would be cool. Or maybe this vitamin is off, they can go check with their doctor, get a blood test to confirm it, that kind of thing, right? So
Or a certain organ that needs to be rejigged, recalibrated.
yes, or people that have like brain injury, they can't talk. We can also connect this to them and they can communicate to us. So I just love it. I know God has selected you to work with this. You have such a heart of a healer, and I'm just so grateful for you being in my life. So thank you for
Thank
coming.
you, Pontea. So if people want to connect and want to book a session, the
Mhm.
best way is to text me,
Yes.
email me.
Yeah.
I do have a website. It's whatreallyworksforstress.com.
Mhm.
It's being renovated because it's actually been around. That website's quite, you'll see my photographs, quite old. But nevertheless, there's a lot of information there. And so what really works for stress, because that's what this legally I'm licensed to do.
Yes, yes,
And so connect with Pontea
yes.
and book a session and feel it out for yourselves.
Yes, I'm going to put all your information in the bottom of the video so people can text you and try this. And I'm just so excited for everybody to get this group healing that we did today. And I do feel that it worked. I feel like we made a shift. It can be an accident that we planned this on the New Year's Eve, on the new moon in Capricorn, the darkest of darkest moons, you could say. So thank you again for all your time, Lina. I love you so much.
Thank you, Pontea. Blessings.
Thank you.